Hey guys, this is Unchained Brandon Day, and you are listening to the Dave Dynasty Show.
My little itty-bitty bruiser buddies.
United States heavyweight champion from Brazil. The world's heavyweight champion from the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
The Midwest supporting, bruiser loving, positivity spreading, world's most dangerous podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty as he supports and promotes Midwest pro wrestling. Keep on growing with the Midwest Express. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty. Thank you for joining us for another week of the premier, leading, best, whatever you want to call it, Midwest Pro Wrestling Podcast. And I mean that with no disrespect to any other podcasts out there. We've just been doing it a long time. And, you know, as Arn Anderson would say, I'm going to toot my own horn. Toot, toot. But, no, I'm just teasing. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoy our show every week, brought to you free of charge on all podcast platforms. We got a fun show for you today. We have the Dangerous Bull, Don Basher, a longtime Midwest independent wrestler and promoter. He's run WCWO for a long, long time. And we finally had him on to record with us here on the show. I've known Don for a long time. I worked for him a few times many years ago, many years ago. And you know, been to many of his shows all over the place here in Indiana, where he runs. So it's a fun interview as we look back on his career a little bit and the career of WCWO and so on and so forth. And that's all we got. We no historical deep dives today. It's just kind of a short show, one interview with Don. But don't fret. We will have more of our historical deep dives in the future. I got many things in the works. We got all kinds of our friends and guests on the show, all the historians of Midwest professional wrestling that will be joining me for various topics. If you have a topic or a wrestler that you would like to hear us cover, then just give us a shout out. You can message me on any social media or just put it out there, you know, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, whatever it is. Let us know what your suggestion is and your ideal, and we'll see what we can do for you. But before you suggest a guest or a topic, please look through our archives. A lot of times when I put something out there about, hey, who would you like to hear on the show? We get names thrown out there, and these are guys that were on the show. And it's not that I mind revisiting and re-interviewing someone and catching back up with them, but, you know, see what we got out there. Listen to the ones we have before you throw out a suggestion. So, and if you're someone who you think would fit in with the theme of the Dave Dynasty Show, and we're discussing Midwest professional wrestling, particularly from a historical aspect, then by all means, pitch your case to me. Get a hold of me if you'd like to be on, and tell me why you think you'd be a good guest. Don't just say, hey, I want to be on. You know, give me a reason, right? Tell me why. Pitch me your idea, and I'd be more than happy to discuss it with you. So, anyway, let's take a break and let's go over how you can follow us on all these social media platforms and how you can support the show and keep it free each week. And when we come back on the other side, we will have that interview with the Dangerous Bull, Don Basher. So stick around. Hey, make sure you visit DaveDynasty.com. That is your central hub for everything within the world of the Dave Dynasty Show. From there, you can find links to follow us on all of our social media accounts. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube, which you will want to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have lots of classic wrestling, every episode of the podcast, and other exclusive features there. While you're at DaveDynasty.com, check out the links to help financially support the show. That is how we keep this free every week. You can go to PROWRESTLINGTEES.com/The Dave Dynasty and buy a shirt to help us out. PayPal.me/The Dave Dynasty to make a one-time financial contribution. Patreon.com/The Dave Dynasty to make ongoing monthly contributions. Or you can click our affiliate links for Amazon.com and HighSpots.com. No additional charge to you, but it helps us out. Thank you for your support, and check out DaveDynasty.com to complete your experience with the Dave Dynasty Show.
Since 2001, drug companies dumped 1 billion opioid pills in West Virginia, causing over 3,000 overdose deaths and thousands of babies born addicted by no fault of their own. I'm attorney Stephen New. If you're the grandparent or guardian of a child born with neonatal abstinence syndrome, call me I'll help you seek just compensation.
Call the law offices of Stephen P. New at 1-844-BAD-PILLS before time runs out.
And welcome back to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your co-host, Ike Isaacs, and today we are joined by the Dangerous Bull, Don Basher. How are we doing today, sir?
Very good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Well, of course, thank you very much for joining us today, Don. You know what, we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So, Don, you were born in Indianapolis, and I assume that you grew up watching Dick the Bruiser. So, let me ask you, when did wrestling hook you?
Probably about 12, 13, something like that.
So, pretty early on. What are some of your favorite memories growing up of wrestling?
Basically sitting in front of the TV on like a Saturday night whenever WWA came on TV, sitting there with my grandmother and just watching her go totally ape shit, getting mad, at the guys on TV and how much he cheated and everything.
Absolutely.
So that's basically what got me hooked in it.
No, for sure. So let me ask you, obviously getting into the wrestling world at a young age, at what point did you know that you wanted to wrestle?
That's probably right after I got out of high school when I went into the Army and I wrestled AAA in there, and I figured, I've done pretty good here. Why not get out and see who I can get hooked up with it, see if I can get my foot in the door. So that's what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I remember correctly, you were trained under Mr. Electricity, Steve Regal. Is that right?
Correct. It was him and Cliff GM, Gilbert Guerrero, Rocky Guerrero. Everybody from that era back in there.
I got you. So tell us, what was that training like, and about what time was that?
It was like in like 88. The training wasn't that bad because, we had some big guys up there at the time. It seemed like we spent most of our time working on the ring after we broke it within the first 15, 20 minutes. Then we spent the next 2 hours trying to put it back together before we can do something else.
Absolutely. So your training wasn't too bad, and obviously, when you get into training, there's obviously a lot of stuff that you have to get with before you can make your debut match. But tell us about your debut match. What was that like, and what name did you wrestle under at that time?
Back then I went by Indiana Kid. Actually, my first match was against Moondog Spot. I was scared to death in that match. I guess what made it pretty easy to get through is I tripped over the ropes going into the ring, so I fell down, was laughing my ass off. Moondog grabbed a hold of me. He's laughing with me like, kid, that's a good way to start off, tripping over the ropes. Then I remember when the match was over, I tripped over the ropes, I fell out of the ring, and kept laughing. That was my debut right there.
Well, hey, as long as you're laughing, that's all that matters, right?
Exactly.
So, obviously, that was your debut match, and then you would continue to go on and, do some pretty great stuff and continue to wrestle. But what were some of the places that you worked in those early days?
Back in the early days, it was basically just in the Indiana area, in the, Kentucky, Tennessee, just the surrounding states at that time.
I got you. So definitely you were kind of all over the Midwest. Obviously, the Midwest is a pretty good hot spot for some really great independent wrestling. So in your early years, you worked about the Midwest, and then eventually you decided to switch things up, and you decided to promote. At what time did you decide that you wanted to do that?
That was probably like, 89 or 90. When we first started off, it was just me and the wife doing everything, as always. At that time, we was IWF, which people actually thought it stood for Indiana Wrestling Federations. But technically, on all the paperwork, it stood for Indiana Wrestling Mess-ups. I declare the last word. Then it got to the point that I branch out a little bit more. People in Kentucky wanted us to come down, Tennessee and Ohio. So we really didn't want to go with Indiana Wrestling Federation at that time. So that's the reason I said that, and I came up with WCWO, which stands for Wild Championship Wrestling Outlaws.
Absolutely. And speaking of WCWO, which you've been running since 1997, I believe, it has to probably be one of the longest running independent circuits in the Americas, I think.
Yes, I had a few people check into it. We are the longest independent wrestling organization that's been running. Actually the only people that does us and everything is WWE.
Right, absolutely. And I was going to say, and I mean, that's a pretty incredible feat that you can do, especially as an independent business. I mean, you see a lot of these other independent entities who they kind of spark. They don't really last that long. They just kind of burn out in the first few years. So it's definitely a huge feat to last that long. But obviously, the best way to keep a wrestling business alive is by giving really good wrestling. So, what was kind of the basis of WCWO? What were you trying to accomplish with that?
Well, at that time, I was just wanting to make sure we was not just limited to the state of Indiana. That's one of the reasons, like I said, that's the reason I changed the name of it. But with the wrestling building that I have now, my main goal was, when I opened this thing up 10 years ago, was give a lot of the guys chances to go out and wrestle somewhere. So, half of the workers out here, they're not that good. And if you don't get in the ring at least once or twice a week, you're not going to get any better. So at that time, that's when I decided to open up the building up here, just give guys a place to work, at least once a week and everything. And I had no clue it was going to get as big as it does now. We have guys coming from everywhere wanting to work for us. And, the success that we had over there, I got to give all the success to all the workers that volunteers their time to come in to entertain the fans and everything. All I did is just open up the building and everybody else done the rest of the work. So I cannot take no credit for that.
Right. And that's a good way to look at it too. Like you said, you've had a lot of great people come in and out, and you've kept a really great show going for a very long time. And some of the people who have made the show great are some of your own family. Through your career is you've been able to see both your son Joey Owens and your grandson Jonathan Wolf become wrestlers. So what's it like having 3 generations of family within the business?
Man, you talk about ego. There's no more space in the building for egos once all 3 of us gets in there. So, unfortunately, I've done forgotten more than they probably ever know, and I never knew enough anyway to make it bigger. But, without those 2 and the Wild would not be existing right now. That's his bud over there helping with the building per se. Jonathan, he's just out there wrestling everywhere, we're not worried about WCWO wrestling. Like I said, I cannot deal without those 2.
No, absolutely.
And I guess I've been told that we've had 5 or 6 people that came through WCWO to be signed with some of the bigger organizations. Which, I'm not too good on that social media stuff. I usually got to the son and grandson to take care of that, but that's what I was told.
No, absolutely. I was going to say, like you said, I mean, with so many people who come in and out, obviously you've helped, continue to grow and, touch different people who have moved on to do even more stuff, like you said, signing with bigger companies and whatnot. But something also really cool that I just want to touch on is that, within your family, Jonathan Wolf, obviously, I've seen him wrestle many a time, but Jonathan's had has a lot of really big career moves, and he has a lot of potential. What do you see his future being in the business?
If he was not lazy he'll be signed with one of the major organizations pretty quick. Now, he's not hitting the gym like he should be. I have no room to talk. I never hit the gym, but, that boy wrestles twice as good as I ever thought about doing. So, with his being in the born, he knows the inside and outside of it, but he just got to get to the gym, and once he hits the gym, he can write his own ticket. So there ain't too many guys out there that could out-wrestle him. And some of the stuff I've seen do, like, wow. I'm amazed by how good he is.
No, for sure. And obviously, of course, Joey Owens as well. He's a fantastic wrestler as well. He's done some great stuff as well. But absolutely, it's also great to be able to, because I've actually had the opportunity to speak with both Joey and Jonathan as well. So it's really great to be able to kind of see the full spectrum, the full perspective there. So that's really awesome. But another thing that I have for you, because obviously, WCWO has been around for a very long time. So whenever you've been in the business as long as you have, there's always some backlash that people say, they the old stick, that you're an old timer, that you're set in your ways. How do you handle those criticisms and with how you run your shows and such?
Well, that's absolutely right. I'm stuck in the old days. I look at it like this. If it's not broke, why try to fix it or make it better? Because, I don't like what a lot of the guys are doing out there. They're doing nothing except, the acrobat stuff. Okay, great, you can get up there and fly around and everything, but can you actually grab a couple of wrestling holds and make it work and make the crowd believe it? Most of them cannot. Getting back to my grandson, I watch him a lot now, and he's actually starting to get out there to entertain the crowd by wrestling. Some of these names of the old timers that I look at him like, what? You actually watch him? And he tells me, yeah, and he can tell me, their things. Eventually, it's got to go back to old school wrestling. I remember when hardcore wrestling started. I talked to a lot of guys like Madman Pondo, Corporal Robinson, like guys. You could only see your body damaged so long, then you can't do nothing else. So, that's the thing with the high-flying guys. These guys, they won't last over 10 years in the business doing the high-flying. So it's got to go back to the basic brawling. I know when we're down in Martinsville, Indiana, doing shows down there, we have a lot of the fans coming to myself, head of the wife, say, hey, all you guys can actually wrestle. We don't want to see all this high-flying stuff. So, it's got to come back around to, wrestling. As I tell the people, what does the marquee out front say? It says wrestling. It does not say high-flying, acrobatical stuff. It's wrestling. That's what people deserve to see.
No, absolutely. And you're actually, I would tend to agree with you. I mean, obviously there's a place for some of that more athletic wrestling, but like you said, a lot of that stuff, it doesn't do the body well whatsoever. It's usually pretty dangerous, and it tends to shorten your lifespan in the ring because a lot of it's not super safe.
Right.
But no, speaking of, you obviously, you still, to this day, on occasion will step into the ring. Now, you have had some health scares lately. So for the future, how much longer do you see yourself getting into the ring and continuing to wrestle?
I really cannot answer that question right now. There's some days I feel like, hey, I can get out there and go another, 10 or 15, 20 minutes in a match. And there's some days I get up and I know I can't even get in the ring. So that's just one of those things I got to play it, day by day. I'm planning on getting back in the ring tomorrow night after my body will let me. If I don't feel like I'm ready, I won't get in there. So it's just a step by step. All I got to say is if people want to see me wrestle, they better know when I'm coming in the ring because they don't know if that's going to be the last time or not.
No, absolutely. And I guess to even go along with that, obviously, you've done so well so far with the promotion. Do you see yourself, continuing to promote for years to come?
That's another thing up in the air. Sometimes I get so pissed off at what's going on, how things are going. I like just to walk away from it, but I've got too much time and money invested in this, so Eventually I want to walk away from it and turn it over to the son. But, I'm not going to do that until I'm ready. I'm not going to be forced to do it.
That's right. No, absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. The old saying is that you know when you know, basically.
Exactly. And right now I'm not ready to give it up. I'm starting to hit the gym a little bit, and I mean a little. I'm not going to overdo it. The doctor told me not to have another heart attack. If I do, I'm not going to like the next one because I might not make it through it. So I want to make sure I take it easy and I'm ready to do it when I'm ready.
No, absolutely. Like you said, when it comes, and you'll know when it's time to step down. That's all you can say.
Exactly. Yep, I figure as long as I can get up there still entertain some of the people, I'm good.
That's right.
That's the reason I'm still training, most of the guys around here. I do training over there at the building twice a week. Getting ready to start up a new group the third week in February. I'm starting up another training session. So that'll keep me pretty busy.
No, absolutely. It will 100% keep you busy. And that's another great thing too. Is obviously is that you wrestle, you promote, but you also train. So definitely you've got the trifecta going. So actually, just
right. I just tell the guys when they come in. Okay, go ahead.
No, go right ahead. I was just gonna ask you a question about that, but keep on.
No, I got to tell the guys when they come over there to be trained, I have to show them how to wrestle. I'm not going to show them all this high-five and stuff. That's what I got the grandson that comes over and teaches them how to do a high-five. Right. I will show them how to grab a headlock or a wrist lock or whatever and how to work it. But this other stuff, I just turn that over to him.
No, absolutely. And, but that's the great thing about having, family and business is that people who, are doing the profession good and, they can continue to help teach those people to do good in the profession as well. So, I guess that's a good thing about having a couple people in the family inside the business.
Right. Basically the way it works, I show them how to wrestle on a gimmick and how to work the gimmick and everything. Then bring the grandson in to show them how to do the high-five and stuff. That way they get the best of all three worlds.
No, absolutely. For sure. And actually, and that's kind of what I wanted to lead into next is, with the world of wrestling, there's a lot of good stuff with wrestling, and we've kind of talked a little bit about different kinds of wrestling that you've been a part of and that you've seen. But with wrestling, there's always good stuff and there's always bad stuff. So kind of looking back at your career and looking back over wrestling as a whole, what do you think has been the best and the worst part of being in professional wrestling?
I guess the best part is trying to keep it going. For a while, I was looking like it started to pick up. So I feel like we had a big part of, keeping wrestling small crowds as decent-sized crowds. Then the worst thing about wrestling is the politics and the internet. So once Vince put everything out there about wrestling as fake per se, and everybody can watch it on the internet to see how to do it, it just hurts your business that way. Because, oh yeah, I know how to wrestle. I've seen YouTube how to do this, do that. Like, no, boys, there's a big difference. So the internet and stuff like that is a business. But ain't the damn thing you can do about it.
No, absolutely. And,
and the good thing is, you still got people like myself still out there trying to teach the old school way. Old school is what made wrestling, not the new stuff.
No, yeah, absolutely. And that was even what I was going to say is that, the internet, that's kind of an interesting little tidbit is that you basically, you saw the birth of the internet, but you also saw what it did to wrestling, which that's kind of a unique perspective. With the internet, you probably saw all these people who, for lack of a better term, started doing like backyard wrestling, who weren't trained and who were trying to be wrestlers essentially.
Correct.
So that's I would definitely put that under the category of one of the worst parts of professional wrestling.
Per se, but then on the other hand, due to the internet, a lot of these younger guys, they're getting the exposures that they would not get without the internet. So it has both pros and cons.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So then, I guess one last thing for you, or a couple last things I should say. We've talked a lot about, your career in wrestling, where you've been, what you've done. But something we like to touch on is, we know who you are in the ring, but tell us something that maybe most people don't know about Don Basher. What do you like away from the ring? Do you have any hobbies or anything you like to do when you're not wrestling?
Just basically, when I'm not wrestling, I just like playing off my play toys and everything. Anything from my motorcycle to my dune buggy to my 77 Corvette. I just like playing with all my toys I have.
Absolutely. So then, would you say that you're kind of into cars and all that?
Yeah, I got about 10 or 15 of them. I don't know why, but I got them.
Hey, no, nothing wrong with that. Having a, car collection, it's a pretty interesting hobby. I'm not too much into cars, but it takes a lot of time and dedication to be into cars because those things have a lot of upkeep, especially some of those older cars. But that's something you enjoy. I 100% commend that.
Yeah, I like it when I get my Corvette out driving around and everything. It gets people's attention.
That's right.
I can go from my big old long Corvette to my Cadillac Escalade. Or if I decide to get the 40-foot tour bus out, I can take it out. So, I got the range of everything.
That's right. You got the best of everything and all those good various cars. That's awesome. So, like I said, we've talked a lot about your career and what you've done in the past, but let me ask you, what are your goals for 2020? I mean, you have a really successful promotion. You've had a really successful career. So what else do you want to do in the new year? Is there anything that we can expect out of Don Basher in 2020?
Actually, I'd like to give it another shot to go back on one of the major television networks, find a group of guys that's ready to go on TV and find a promotion that's willing to get behind us and put us out there. If not, the only other thing you're going to see out of me this year is, I hate to say it, but I would love to see the Athletic Commission come back in for wrestling. I know a few years ago, I personally shut the Athletic Commission from coming in. But now I'm starting to think that I made a mistake by keeping it out. One, promotions where you got guys out there, as you said, they're backyard wrestlers, trying to say they're professionals, and somebody's going to get hurt, or if not worse. So I'm going to keep watching, and I'm going to start working on getting the Athletic Commission back here in the state of Indiana for pro wrestling.
No.
That way, a lot of these organizations cannot keep running. Don't get me wrong, there's some good organizations out there that I would do my best to see if they get grandfathered in. But then there's some out there I'll do my best to shut down.
No, absolutely. I mean, and like you said, I mean, there is just an unfortunate amount of untrained individuals in the business, and it's not safe. It can cause a lot of issues, and having something to govern that that activity could be positive. It could, for sure.
Right. It's going to keep somebody from getting seriously hurt. And if I can keep that from happening, I'm going to go for it. I'm sure that's going to make a lot of people mad, but I really don't care. I made people mad before.
You're like, I'm used to it. Let's keep going.
Exactly. You don't like what I got to say? Change it. Or prove me wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. Because if they prove you wrong, no harm, no foul. But if you make a difference and you change something, then that's all that matters.
Yep. Like I said, I'm the one that got wrestling back into the National Guard Armory when everybody got kicked out. They don't run the National Guard Armories anymore. And, you know, a lot of guys, they don't realize what I've done for this business. Or honestly, they just don't give a shit anymore. Because it is anymore. At least what I see. Nobody respects anybody.
No, yeah, that's an unfortunate aspect of wrestling, is a lot of people don't respect, you know, what's been done, or, you know, what people are doing. And like you said, you know, it's just a lack of respect, I feel like. But you know, you're right. You know, you've done a lot for the business throughout your career. You know, you've continued to, you know, provide great professional wrestling to the Midwest area. And, you know, I'm excited to see what you've got in you for the coming years. That'll be an interesting treat for everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, even myself.
Right. But I guess one last thing for you, and I know you mentioned earlier you're not a huge fan of the social media and the internet, but do you have any social medias, anywhere where people can keep up with you, or anywhere people can keep up with your promotion?
Man, if I do, I could not tell you. You always let the son and grandson take care of the social media stuff. Like, boys, you guys do that. You know, I'm old school.
That's right. And actually, I believe I follow you guys on Facebook. So I'm pretty sure there's a WCWO Facebook out there for anybody who's listening who wants to check them out. They do a lot of great stuff, and like you said, they're going to keep doing great stuff. So go check them out on Facebook. I know for sure that they have a Facebook.
All right, you know something that I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's all good. Well, Don, you know, I first and foremost, I want to thank you very much for giving me some of your time today, so we could talk to you about your career and, you know, your world of wrestling. So I really appreciate the time you've given me to kind of talk to you about all that.
All right, no problem. Anytime you guys got any questions or whatever, just give me a call. To see you guys do more interviews on here with some of the old WWA guys that's still around in this area. You know, because I see there's a lot of people that put stuff there about WWE and everything. You know, you still have Bobby Cole around here, Jose Martinez, El Rosero, Bob Boyer, which was Chief Bobby Gold Eagle. You know, there's still a lot of guys around here that give you guys some great stories from the 70s and 80s and everything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would say we've had some fantastic people on the show. You even mentioned a couple people that we've had the opportunity to speak to, and you know, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and then you keep doing what you're doing over there at WCWO. But thank you again, Don, for giving us the time today, and for everybody who is listening, continue to support independent wrestling. It is the lifeblood of professional wrestling. But thank you again, Don. We will catch up with you later. But thank you again. You have a great rest of your day, and hopefully a good weekend this weekend.
All right, don't forget that we do live professional wrestling every Friday night at 1151 South Kentucky Avenue. General admission's $10 to get in, ringside's $12. Getting under 5 are free, and you're going to see some of the best talent around. You don't see the same guys over and over and over. You see, you know, 20, 30 different workers in there every Friday night. So I'd like to encourage everybody to come out on oriented wrestling event.
Absolutely, and you heard him there. It is fantastic wrestling. I have personally been to WCWO. It is a wonderful time. So you will not be upset. You will not be sad. You will be so happy that you went. And he gave you all the details there, but also all those details are also on their Facebook page as well. So, but thank you again, Don, and hopefully we'll see you at an event here soon. All right.
All right, thank you, sir.
If you are looking for the best books, DVDs, and posters on classic wrestling nostalgia, then you want to visit crowbarpress.com. There are literally dozens of titles there, including biographies of the likes of Bruiser Brody, Ole Anderson, Ivan Koloff, and of course, Dick the Bruiser, as we've spoke about here on the Dave Dynasty Show. You want to visit crowbarpress.com for all of your classic wrestling nostalgia needs. Again, that is crowbarpress.com. All right. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again this week for another episode of the Dave Dynasty Show, brought to you free every week, covering the best in Midwest professional wrestling, past and present. Thank you to Ike Isaacs for conducting the interview, and special thanks to the Dangerous Bull Don Basher for coming on and being a guest and telling some of his memories and some of his stories. We will be back next week with another great episode here from the Dave Dynasty Show. Make sure you follow us on all those social media links that you heard earlier. Make sure you get out there, make a contribution to the show. That's how we keep it free every week. And, like I said, the easiest way to do that is go to ProWrestlingTees.com/The Dave Dynasty and buy a shirt. We have a very, very cool Bruiser Buddy t-shirt on there. I know you want one. Go get one. They're awesome. Go buy it. Support the show. And make sure you get out there every week. Support independent pro wrestling in your area and support the quality stuff, right? Don't just go out there and go to willy-nilly anything, right? Don't just be accepting of a product that you don't enjoy or that you're not proud to be at. Go out there, support the companies and the wrestlers that you enjoy, that you like, that are doing things the way you want, and support them, right? Buy shirts from them, buy merch from them, get a picture from them. That's how these guys make a living, right? That's how they make ends meet. Not just what they get paid for the shows. They need some of that additional income because there's a lot of expenses in doing what they do. So get out there and support them. But until next week, I am Dave Dynasty. This is the Dave Dynasty Show, and wherever you go, whatever you do, be good, be safe, and keep on growing.